Okay, so there's some big changes that have been going down in Iran, and they've all been being led by young people. But first, to understand what's happening now, we have to take a trip all the way back to 1978. Okay, quick history lesson. In 1978, there was the Shah who ran Iran, but he was a corrupt Western controlled puppet leader. And he was very oppressive, and people did not like him at all because he was bad and he had little regard for human rights. So they had a big revolution, and then they made this guy, Ayatollah Khomeini, a very big, powerful religious leader in Shia Islam, to be the leader of Iran after the Shah got kicked out. But he was not as an ideal leader as they thought they would be, because under him, he implemented very non-secular, still pretty oppressive and restrictive rules in Iran. And those things that were implemented way back are still a problem today, even though they're not as bad as they were before, but they're still pretty bad. Okay, so let's start off with, what is this movement in the first place, and what do the young Iranians want from the movement? The issue right now is that the Iranian government is running Iran with very strict, restrictive rules that don't allow Iranians to express themselves, and also leads to a lack of human rights in the first place. The young Iranians believe that they shouldn't have to suffer for the mistakes of an old, outdated government that they didn't even want in the first place. One major issue is the lack of freedoms in Iran. Speaking out or criticizing Islam is a punishable offense, and so is speaking poorly about the ruling body or the clergy. Basically, the youth is tired of rules being put in by old statesmen that they don't want, that are making life hard for regular, average, everyday Iranians. All the Iranians want are to be able to speak freely without fear of being punished. They want to be connected with the rest of the world and be able to live a regular life like any modern person. Alright, what's next? There are about 3 things that you can give credit to the popularity of the movement. These 3 things are education, social media, and a sense of Iranian pride. Education. So, as more and more young Iranians are going to college and getting educated, this has led to critical thinking becoming more prevalent within younger groups of Iranians. It has been proven before in history that when critical thinking is introduced to a youth that is unhappy with the current establishment in their country, change is inevitable. This is evident in the situation in Tiananmen Square in China, when educated Chinese college students started to learn to think critically and began to criticize their oppressive communist government. While the situation in Iran is not nearly as bad as communist China, there are still things to be criticized and still things to be changed. And the young educated Iranians are at the forefront of that change. Social media, without a doubt, is one of, if not the biggest contributor to the acceleration and success of the Iranian youth-led movement. What would a modern youth-led movement be without a social media platform? An online platform allows for Iranians to share their ideas faster than ever before, and also allows them to express themselves however they want. Online, Iranians can express themselves however they want without having to live in fear of a harsh punishment. Use of the internet and social media have been so vital to the Iranian youth movement because it allows Iranians to share their ideas with other Iranians and to express themselves however they please. This reflects the core value in the Iranian youth movement that all Iranians want are to be able to express themselves how they want and live a normal life. Iranian pride. Young Iranians are tired of their country being seen as a hostile rogue nation and are tired of all Iranians being seen as rude and hateful people, when in reality this is the farthest thing from the truth. Iranians are some of the kindest and smartest people in the world. Young Iranians don't want to be seen in a negative way because their politicians give their country a bad image. The youth want to change Iran for the better so they can feel a sense of pride in their country and not have their country be seen as a hostile nation. So, what are some people doing to protest the current establishment in Iran? Well, last year in May of 2018, there was an Iranian Freedom Convention where 10 young Iranian Americans spoke about the problems in Iran and their feelings on the subject. They expressed many ideas, thoughts, criticisms, and ideas for the future. But this all happened in Washington, D.C., because if this were to happen in Iran, it would have been shut down instantly without question. The fact that it could not be held in Iran exemplifies the unfortunate truth that freedom of speech and freedom of assembly are very restricted in Iran. Another example would be an inclusive parkour group in Tehran, the capital of Iran. It is not normal for there to be an inclusive group where both men and women participate in physical activities, but this group breaks the norm and allows for all kinds of people to participate in a sport that they all love. My final example is the story of musician Shaheen Najafi. He was sentenced to death by the senior Ayatollah, but is now under police protection in Germany. He has a bounty of $100,000 and can never return to Iran ever again. This is all because he wrote a song that criticized a Shia cleric in Iran. This proves that self-expression is highly restricted in Iran, and even thinking about criticizing a clergy member or high governing body will result in severe punishment.
هر شکلی از هنر که خطرساز باشه برای کنزرواتیسم ایرانی که توش مخلوطی از سنت و دینه ممنوع. اگه کار موسیقی تو ایران خیلی نسبیه. اگه کار پاپ بکنی به دین و مسائل جنسی و آزادی‌های سیاسی و بحث همجنسگرا و اینا کار نداشته باشی عموما آسون تره. اما موقعی که به مسائل سیاسی و این جور حواشی بپردازی کار سخت میشه.
Speaking out against the country's leaders can have severe consequences.
While life is still hard in Iran right now for those who want to lead a normal life, there is hope. There is no sign of the movement slowing down, and there is no sign of anyone giving up. The process of the progress may be slow, but it's better than nothing. While many people may get arrested for something unreasonable or for expressing themselves, the law enforcement is getting more and more lenient as the law enforcement gets younger and younger. Change is coming to Iran, and it's going to be led by the youth, one step at a time.